1990p. What if I told you that a simple nickel you carried in your pocket back in 1990, maybe one you used at the gas station, or dropped into a payphone, could today be worth far more than its face value? Imagine, a 5-cent coin, the kind you barely glanced at, now sitting in the spotlight of collectors across the nation. Let me take you back for a moment. Picture the year 1990, George H.W. Bush was president, families were still swapping VHS tapes on Friday nights, and Jefferson's Monticello nickel quietly rolled out of the Philadelphia Mint. Millions were produced, yes, but hidden among those millions are rare survivors, coins struck with unusual precision, coins with tiny errors invisible to the untrained eye, coins that have turned into treasures 3 decades later. For some collectors, discovering one of these nickels was like stumbling across a time capsule, a direct link to their youth, to simpler days. Here's what makes the 1990p Jefferson Nickel so desirable: the Philadelphia Mint mark. The P rests just beside Jefferson's portrait. In most cases, it's ordinary. But a small number were struck with dramatic minting errors, doubled features, off-center strikes, and unusually sharp steps on Monticello's base, something collectors call full steps. When these details align, the coin instantly leaps from a casual pocket change nickel to one sought after in auctions, sometimes commanding hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its grade and rarity. Think about it, how many times have we all tossed our spare change into a jar, or handed over nickels without a second thought? Countless people have unknowingly spent away their chance at history, letting coins worth a collector's dream slip right through their fingers. Someone out there probably bought a soda with a coin that could have paid a mortgage bill today. That's the power of what's hiding in plain sight. So here's where it gets exciting. If you've got a 1990 nickel, take it out and give it a closer look. The date must read 1990 with the Philadelphia P Mint mark. Pay close attention to the fine steps at the bottom of Monticello's image. The sharper and clearer, the better. Errors such as doubling on Jefferson's profile or slight misalignments can make the coin even more desirable, and once you suspect you have something special, don't just leave it sitting in a drawer. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can confirm its rarity, give it an official grade, and open the doors for collectors willing to pay top dollar for it. So the next time you glance at that old coin jar in your kitchen, remember this: you might not just be holding loose change, you could be holding a piece of history, a coin that connects your past to your future. Treasure hunting doesn't always mean digging in the dirt, sometimes it starts right in your own home. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures today, because together we uncover the stories, the history, and yes, the hidden fortune in coins you already own. 1992d. What if I told you that a simple nickel, the kind you might have tossed into a piggy bank as a child, could be worth thousands of dollars today? Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks so ordinary, yet collectors across the country are fighting to own it. The 1992d Jefferson Nickel, with its Monticello design, is one of those hidden treasures. Let me share a story with you. A man in Colorado once brought a handful of nickels to a coin shop, just trying to trade them in for face value. The shop owner noticed something unusual about one of them, a Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1992 with a faint but significant detail that most people would miss. That single coin, pulled from everyday change, turned out to be worth more than his entire coin jar combined. This nickel wasn't just pocket change anymore, it was a piece of history, and a ticket to a small fortune. So what makes the 1992d Jefferson Nickel so valuable? It comes down to rarity and precision. Minted in Denver, this coin carries the D mark, but what sets it apart is the strike. Certain examples show stronger details and subtle errors in the Monticello design that collectors crave. These aren't just nickels, they're time capsules, surviving over 3 decades without being lost to wear, circulation, or forgetfulness. Their scarcity, combined with collector demand, has pushed values into the thousands for high-grade, certified examples. Now here's the part that stings: many people have already spent these coins without realizing their worth. A nickel given to a cashier. A coin tossed into a vending machine. A treasure lost in plain sight. Every time that happens, another piece of American history slips away. Don't let that be your story. If you're wondering whether you might have one, start with the date. 1992, struck in Denver with the D mint mark. Then study the Monticello design, look closely at the sharpness of the steps and the clarity of Jefferson's profile. These small details transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Hold it up to the light, and you might just notice the signs that separate a common nickel from a rare collectible, and if you think you found one, don't guess, get it checked. Trusted grading companies like PCGS or NGC can certify its authenticity and value, turning your discovery into a verified treasure. Reputable dealers can also help, but the key is to act before the opportunity passes. So the next time you open that dusty jar of change sitting in your kitchen, remember, it's not just spare coins. It could be your future, quietly waiting to be found. The 1992 D. Jefferson Nickel is proof that history hides in the most ordinary of places. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we uncover the secrets of coins like these, because your next handful of change could hold the key to something extraordinary. 1993 What if a nickel sitting forgotten in your drawer could be worth thousands today? Imagine the same coin you once used to buy a pack of gum now holding enough value to change someone's life. The 1993 Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel isn't just spare change, it's a hidden treasure that collectors are scrambling to find. Picture this: an older gentleman in Pennsylvania, cleaning out an old cigar box his father left him. Inside were dozens of nickels, most ordinary, but one stood out. A 1993 Jefferson Nickel, untouched, shining with a slight error no one had noticed before. That coin, pulled from everyday pocket change 3 decades ago, turned out to be worth far more than face value. It wasn't just a nickel, it was a piece of American history, carrying with it the memories of a time when coins were trusted companions in every transaction. So, what makes this coin so valuable? The 1993 Monticello nickel is known among collectors for rare die varieties, striking errors, and high-grade conditions that almost never survived circulation. Coins minted in Philadelphia that year carry the P mark, and when preserved in pristine condition or struck with a slight flaw, their demand skyrockets. While millions were made, only a small handful survive in the kind of state collectors crave, and that scarcity drives up the price. Far too many people have spent these rare nickels without realizing their true worth. Imagine the heartbreak of giving away a coin that could fetch thousands, just because it looked ordinary. It's happened countless times. Collectors often say the saddest words in coin history are, "I had one of those, but I spent it." That's why recognizing these treasures before they slip away is so important. When holding a 1993 Jefferson Nickel, you want to see the P mint mark right under the year. Look closely at Monticello on the reverse side. Many valuable examples show doubling or striking issues that make them stand out. The condition is everything. A nickel in uncirculated or near-perfect shape can bring astonishing returns, while circulated examples still carry collector interest. And here's where the real magic happens: if you think you've got one of these nickels, don't just toss it back into change. Have it authenticated and graded by trusted services like PCGS or NGC. Once verified, its true market value comes alive, and collectors will line up to add it to their collections. That old jar of coins in your kitchen? That dusty box in your attic? One simple nickel from 1993 might be waiting to tell its story, and that story could very well change yours. Every coin carries history, and some carry fortune. So before you overlook the next nickel you come across, take a closer look. It may be far more than just spare change. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the history and hidden wealth that's been sitting in plain sight all along. 1995 D. What if I told you that a simple nickel, one you may have held in your pocket back in the 1990s, could now be worth thousands of dollars? Imagine the very coin you once used for a cup of coffee, or slipped into a gumball machine, being the same coin collectors are hunting for today, desperate to add it to their collection. Back in 1995, the Denver Mint produced millions of Jefferson Nickels, each one carrying the proud image of Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's timeless legacy. Most of these coins circulated without a second thought, vanishing into the everyday rhythm of American life. But a small handful carried something different, something rare, something extraordinary. These are the nickels that slipped through unnoticed, tucked away into jars, change drawers, and old wallets, quietly waiting for their story to be rediscovered. What makes the 1995 Jefferson Nickel so special is not just its age, but the stunning errors and striking details found on select coins. Some were minted with doubled features that make Jefferson's portrait appear almost ghostly. Others display subtle die flaws that set them apart from the ordinary. These rare variations, coupled with pristine condition, can drive value soaring into the thousands, transforming a coin most would dismiss as pocket change into a true treasure of American history. Think about this for a moment. How many times have people spent these rare nickels without ever knowing what they had? Stories circulate of individuals who unknowingly handed one over at a gas station or dropped it into a vending machine. The opportunity was literally in their hand, yet it slipped away forever. Every day, collectors are willing to pay serious money for these nickels, and every day, someone else loses the chance to claim that reward. If you're searching your coins, remember this. The date should read 1995 with the unmistakable D mint mark just to the right of Jefferson's portrait. Turn the coin and study Monticello carefully. Are the steps clear, sharp, and fully visible? That detail alone can multiply its worth. Look closely at Jefferson's face and inscriptions for any doubling or irregularities. These are the signs that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary, and when you believe you found one, don't second-guess yourself. Trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and certify the coin's condition and rarity. A verified coin is no longer just a nickel, it becomes a certified piece of history with a documented value in the collector's market. So, before you dismiss that jar of change sitting in your kitchen, think again. It could be holding more than memories, it could be holding your future. The 1995 Jefferson Nickel is living proof that treasures often hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with the eye and the passion to recognize them. If you love uncovering the hidden wealth of America's past, subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you discover history resting in the palm of your hand. 1996. What if I told you that a nickel from 1996, one you might have held in your very own hands while buying a cup of coffee or giving change to a grandchild, could now be worth thousands of dollars? It sounds almost impossible, doesn't it? But hidden in plain sight, the 1996 Monticello Jefferson Nickel has become one of the most sought-after treasures in the world of coin collecting. Picture this: a retired gentleman in Pennsylvania, sorting through an old cigar box of coins his father left him. Most of them were ordinary, a few wheat pennies, some tarnished dimes, and a handful of nickels. But there it was, a 1996 Jefferson Nickel with a faint, almost ghostly strike. He thought nothing of it until curiosity led him to a coin show. To his amazement, collectors gathered around, whispering about the rarity of that little 5-cent piece. What he thought was pocket change turned out to be worth more than he ever dreamed. So why is the 1996 Monticello Jefferson Nickel so valuable? This coin, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carries hidden mysteries. Some have weak strikes, where Jefferson's portrait or the Monticello details appear faded. Others feature rare die errors that set them apart from millions of ordinary nickels. The demand for pristine, high-grade examples has soared, with collectors paying extraordinary sums to secure them. And here's the truth: even a simple nickel, if preserved well or carrying one of these striking flaws, can be worth far more than its face value. Too many times, I've heard the same heartbreaking story. Someone finds an unusual nickel, shrugs it off as just another coin, and spends it without a second thought. Weeks later, they discover that very type of nickel was selling for hundreds, even thousands, at auction. It's a reminder that history, value, and opportunity can slip right through our fingers if we aren't paying attention. So, how can you know if you have one? The date must be 1996, with a clear P mint mark on the obverse. The Monticello design on the reverse should be examined carefully. Look for weak or missing steps, unusual strike details, or anything that looks imperfect. And if the coin is in brilliant, uncirculated condition, it could be worth a small fortune to the right buyer. If you believe you found one of these rare nickels, don't guess, verify it. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, unlocking its true market value. Even local coin shops or trusted dealers can give you insight into what you may be holding so tonight, when you open that old coffee tin, that mason jar in the attic, or that drawer filled with change you haven't touched in years. Remember, a single 1996 P Monticello nickel could change everything. Coins like this remind us that history isn't just in museums, it's in our homes, waiting to be rediscovered. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the wealth of history hiding in plain sight. 1984 P. What if I told you that a simple nickel, the kind you might have tossed into a gumball machine back in the 1980s, could today be worth far more than its face value, even thousands of dollars? Imagine the power of a single coin, forgotten in a jar or hiding in a drawer, holding the key to an unexpected fortune. I remember a story of a man in Pennsylvania who spent his childhood playing with coins from his father's pocket change. Decades later, while sorting through an old box, he spotted a Jefferson nickel that looked oddly sharp and flawless compared to the rest. That coin turned out to be a rare 1984 P Monticello nickel, one that collectors had been searching for. Suddenly, something he once overlooked became a prized possession, a bridge between the memory of his father and the world of rare coin collecting. The 1984 P Monticello nickel isn't just any coin. What makes it truly extraordinary is the strength of its strike, the detail in Jefferson's portrait, and the presence of certain rare errors from that year. Some coins from the Philadelphia Mint were struck with such precision that they reveal features collectors crave, while others carry subtle die flaws or doubling that send their value skyrocketing. To the untrained eye, it may look like any other nickel. But to those who know what to look for, it's a discovery worth celebrating, a coin in high demand, chased after by serious collectors willing to pay dearly for it. Far too many of these nickels have slipped through the cracks. People spent them without knowing, passed them down without checking, or simply let them disappear into circulation. Every day, someone unknowingly hands over a piece of history in exchange for 5 cents of candy. That loss is not just financial, it's a chance to hold something rare, something meaningful, something that carries a story from 1984 into the present. Here's what makes this nickel one worth searching for: the date, 1984, must carry the P mint mark from Philadelphia. Look closely at Jefferson's profile, the sharpness of his image matters. Flip the coin and pay attention to Monticello. On certain versions, the steps are fully struck, an incredibly rare detail that dramatically increases value. Others show unique doubling, which transforms an ordinary coin into a treasure. If you believe you found one, don't rely on guesswork. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC exist for a reason. They verify authenticity, grade the condition, and establish market value. That little nickel could move from your pocket to a certified holder, and from there, into the hands of eager collectors who recognize its worth. So, before you overlook that old jar of coins sitting in your kitchen, take one more careful look. Because inside, you might find not just a piece of change, but a piece of history, a coin that connects your memories to a brighter future. And if you want to keep uncovering these treasures hiding in plain sight, subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story is worth a fortune. 1978. What if a simple nickel from 1978, one you may have handled countless times at the grocery store or tucked into a child's piggy bank, could now be worth thousands of dollars? Imagine that, spare change from your pocket back in the late 70s now turning into a treasure capable of changing someone's life today. Back in 1978, America was in the middle of change. Gas was cheap by today's standards, families gathered around their television sets, and the nickel, bearing Thomas Jefferson's timeless profile, was just another everyday coin. But not all of those nickels were ordinary. A rare batch slipped through the presses without a mint mark, a tiny detail that most people never even noticed. Picture a man decades later, cleaning out his father's coin jar, only to discover one of these mysterious no mint mark nickels resting quietly at the bottom. What once bought a pack of gum suddenly became a coin worth a fortune. The reason this 1978 no mint mark Monticello nickel is so valuable lies in that missing detail. Normally, nickels from Philadelphia that year should bear a mint mark, but a striking error occurred. Some coins left the mint without it, making them incredibly scarce. Collectors are willing to pay handsomely for one today, because each surviving piece is a true accident of history, a perfect storm of rarity and nostalgia. Think of how many people once jingled this exact coin in their pocket, only to spend it on a coffee or hand it over at a diner without a second thought. Countless families let these treasures slip through their hands, never realizing that the same coin could one day be showcased at an auction, commanding bids that climb higher and higher. That missed opportunity is what makes finding one now so thrilling, and so urgent that if you have a Jefferson nickel from 1978, hold it close and look carefully. The front will carry Jefferson's profile, and the back his Monticello home. But what truly matters is the mint mark, or the lack of one. Instead of seeing the usual letter stamped beside Jefferson's image, you will notice it's missing entirely. That absence is not a flaw, it's the key to unlocking its hidden value. If you suspect you found one of these nickels, don't rely on guesswork. Trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC can professionally authenticate and grade the coin, ensuring you know its true worth before you ever part with it. A certified 1978 no-mint mark nickel can bring enormous interest from serious collectors. So, the next time you reach into that old jar of change in your kitchen, or dust off a box of coins your parents left behind, pause for a moment. That little nickel you've overlooked for decades might just be your hidden fortune. History isn't locked away in museums, it's sitting in your hands, waiting to be rediscovered. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, because we help you uncover the past and transform it into your future.